Quite a few years ago, I had the occasion to plan an international meeting for the leadership of my congregation. The meeting was in West Africa, Ghana, and I had to find suitable accommodations for all the visitors, including the leaders who came from this country. When one of them saw the accommodations, which were very different from what they were used to in this country, he acknowledged that until then, his only experience of culture shock was eating at Taco Bell, a fast food Mexican restaurant in this country. I wonder how he would react now to this gospel today when Jesus says, "Invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind to your table." What would it be like if each one of us was asked to do the same? Invite people to our table who are very different from us, or who we would feel uncomfortable being with. The other day when he was preaching, Father David mentioned that on some days there would be a temptation to avoid certain subjects that the scriptures bring up, possibly modify them to better suit or fit in what we want to hear. One could almost ask if today is one of those days. But the lesson, I believe, that Jesus is conveying to us is clear. And I think the song that I chose is consistent with that lesson. It's about inclusivity. With Jesus, there is room at the table for everyone. And yet we know this is not a belief that everyone shares. In fact, just in the papers these past few days, we had two instances, one in Pakistan of the Asian woman who was freed, Asia rather, she was freed from a blasphemy conviction. And there's been uprisings in the country ever since. They want this woman dead. And just in Egypt, 7 Coptic Christians were killed by terrorists just last week. Again, certainly not everyone is of the conviction that Jesus is when he says that there's room at the table for everyone. In the Gospel of Mark this past Sunday, Jesus was asked, "Which is the first of all the commandments?" And he answered and said, "Love God first," but added, "and your neighbor as yourself." Follow these two, Jesus said, and you won't be too far from entering the kingdom of God. Well, today, St. Paul, in his reading, puts it differently to the members of his community. He urges them not to be looking out just for themselves or their self-interest, but also looking out for others and the interests of others. Sincere believers may well be conflicted by the words of Jesus and Paul today, finding it very difficult to put into practice what both of them are saying. I think the psalmist today has some comforting words for us when we experience this inner turmoil. Namely, bring it to prayer. Prayer, the psalmist said, may not resolve the conflicts, but at least it will quiet and still our souls, and we'll find a measure of peace that the Lord is prepared to share with us. Thank you, and God bless you.